So I'll start with XRP, and I'll start with a zoom out. As you can see, this wedge is playing out here. So on the bigger scale, the breakout here has everything to do with this yellow wedge, yeah. You can see then the red channels here. Red channels are heading down, and there's ranges. So we're playing between the 3860 range and the 2853 range. So we dropped into this, and we're playing this out at the moment, yeah. I think the bigger range we're also playing out is if we break up, we could be heading for the 46. If we break down, we could be heading for the 25 or so. And the bigger range again is that I think potentially we do have a potential of going all the way down to around 1920. I think this is probably the low that we could go, yeah. There's also a 2250 here, yeah. And then for the break, the relief rallies could go all the way up to 51 and 56, 57. Until we start breaking 60, we're not really out of this. So I think we're going to have a bit of a wave getting out of this, yeah. So when we zoom in, you can see this is the daily, the drop, the rejection of the 20 EMA, rejection again, back up, it breaks up. Now this is where on previous patterns you got to break up, and this capitulated, it failed, yeah. Came back and had a go at it again, and again I was talking about this the other day, is that if this holds and if this holds, again, part of the pattern is when it breaks this, it has a tendency to break up. It failed again, yeah. So now we're down here. You can see this support line. You can see this support line here, and it's being tested again at the moment, yeah. So that's where we are on this bigger plan, yeah. At some point we're definitely going to come along and hit this yellow line, yeah. So looking at this is the same position on the daily, but here we are, and the question is, are we playing this W where you've got the W for the breakout? And again, this was yesterday. If this had continued up, it's looking solid to complete this, but again it failed and dropped down, yeah. So it doesn't mean it can't come back up and complete, but at the moment it's starting to favor the head and shoulders again because of this drop, yeah. So that's what it's looking like at the moment. And again, there is the drop here was to the 786 correction of this wave, 786 correction. Okay, now also it could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5, a push down here, and then we get our correction back up to our impulse back up to 35, which on this correction down, the impulse back up, 786 is around 35, and it's been playing with the 786 for a long time. The 786 seems to be the favored target, yeah. However, there is also a time when it comes to breakout time, is that you can get your correction, you get a small little retrace, and then you get a spill. So this is a potential that could be playing out now. And the retrace here went up to the medial line. So it went up to the medial line here, and that's pushing back down. Now it was looking like a big spill, and then the last hour it's just boom. This is after coming up, yeah. So we'll have a look and see. We'll see if this is gonna head up. I think the challenge is the VWAP. The VWAP was resistance pushing down today so far. Is for it to go up to 35, the VWAP will have to switch to support, and again it will need to break the medial line. If it breaks those two things, I think it's heading back up to 35. At the moment, it really just got to 33. So this is where we're looking at the moment, yeah. Is on the 15-minute arc. Again, you can see the support line here, and again it's broken a little bit, but again it's still within the impulse. this impulse here, right to 786, this is just below it. Here's the bottom of this impulse. So if it is a breakout, it needs to get below 3081. It needs to do that to show that it's moving down, or else we're going to head back up for the correction. So that's one. The full confirmation of the breakout is when it breaks this bottom here. So that's they're the two confirmations. This is like an early warning, and then this is the full confirmation. Is personally, if it breaks this, I'd be surprised if it doesn't continue down. Yeah, I think it'll be a first spike, mid-range or resistance peak, and now what we're doing is we're heading down for second spike and mid-range high. Yeah, that's if it continues. So watching this very closely, you can see this big sharp retrace here at the moment on the. Look at this, even on the 15 is you can see boom boom boom, it's shooting up. Yeah, but we'll see how it goes. On the 30-minute arc, which includes everything here, the two pieces together, rather than on the 15-minute, you can see I've separated these into two arcs. Yeah, but on the half hour, they're one arc, and you can see it's actually quite a beautiful symmetrical arc here. Yeah, so we've hit final bounce. And again, potential final retrace is coming up to here, and then we'll see what happens. So that's what I'm looking at, yeah. So now here is the MAs, and you can see here's the VWAP, here's the medial line here. Interesting enough, there's a nice spill here, but the 10 turned up a little bit, so. If I was to do another check, is if the medial line doesn't hold, will the 10 hold? Will the 10 hold? And again, will it push back down? So we got to see, yeah. But now this here is, I'm going all the way out to the month, because wait until you see what it's showing, yeah. So on the monthly, you can see it's still a clear spill here. VWAP is here. It's come up and now it's coming back down. The Bollinger at the bottom of the VWAP is 80 and 45. So that's the month. Now the 3 week the 3 week. The 3 week turned on the 11th, which it turned there this morning. Yeah, and again is the 5 crossed over the 50 here, yeah, and there hasn't been this, when it crossed over, it really crossed properly over on this one, and there's been a bit of a retrace on this one down, yeah, where the real effects of the 5 now, this 5 is really starting to apply pressure, and you can see the bottom of the Bollinger there is 80 and 22, yeah, so this 5 is now properly in play with regards pressure down, yeah. And it does look very spilly. That was red until just the recent lift, yeah. But even if price action comes up to one more time, this 5 is at 38.50, 51. Here's the 2 week, and again this turned on the 4th of July. So this turned a week ago, and you can see that the last week the retrace only got as far as 35.84. It only got as far as this 5. So here's a pressure up, but this is properly coming down, yeah. So again, the Bollinger here is at 17.94. So now I will suggest on the potential pump up is if for whatever reason price action did get up high here, this 5 could turn into support. So it could be a turn here, but really at the moment it looks like it's a rejection, and it's pushing down, and the 3 week is after dropping into the zone of pressure, yeah. Here is the weekly, and again, the Bollinger here is down at 2185. You can see this is looking to turn. You can see the VWAP here doing a bit of a dance here, but the VWAP is down. The 5 is slightly down, but the 10 also is coming into play here, where the 10 is at 36, 37, and very much applying pressure. Again, could this turn and do a lift? Yes, it could. And this was red up until an hour ago. But we'll see. Even if it, and you can see this was a rejection. This got up.
Bitcoin's not going with this lift, so.
Yeah, they just lift this happening pretty fast.
Yeah, it's just the start of the session lift.
Yeah, Mahel is making a good point that oftentimes at the start of the session you get a sharp movement in one direction before it heads down in another direction. Yeah, and she's saying that as much as XRP is lifting at the moment, Bitcoin isn't going with it.
And it's a double top with the Sydney.
It's a double top
with the Sydney. So between the Sydney session and the EU session, they've created a double top.
At what time now?
At the 15.
Very good. Okay, well, we'll get to the 15. We're only on the weekly.
Sorry.
No, you're grand.
Just wanted to give you the heads up on what's going on now.
On the 15, let's move on. Let's move into the 6 hour. So you can see on the 6 hour again. There's pressure. Or sorry, not the 6 hour. The 6 day. There's 23.42 as the Bollinger. Yeah. You can see the VWAP's turned up, but again, this is due to change tomorrow. This is due to change tomorrow. But what I'm trying to point out here is, look, there's a lift up, and then there's a rejection back down. So you can see where there has been a lift on some of them, and then there's a rejection, and again another long wick rejection there as well. Yeah. And again, there's a 5 day turn on the 10th. So that was yesterday. And again, that's in more of a spill mode. There's the 4 day, and again that was on the 8th. That will turn again tomorrow. You can see the lift up, the rejection from the 10 and the medial line, and again now there's a push back down. Yeah. So again, that looks. Again, it can turn, but it looks like it's in a spill position. There's 28.60, so that's the bottom of this one here, yeah. So there's the 3 day, and again, I think that looks pretty spilly, and that is going to turn tomorrow as well, yeah. So again, if I was going to argue about it becoming a W here, is if the retrace to 35 does go through today, is it would bring it back up to here. So if these guys turn tomorrow and they turned up like that, now there's an argument for the lift up. There's an argument for the W beginning to complete itself. But as it is right now, it is looking quite spilly. Yeah. The same with the 2 day. But again, when it was down here, it looked even more spilly. But you can see the 5 and the 10 here are a little bit. They're a little bit. I would say there's the 5 slightly up, 10 is a bit level, and then the 20 is coming down here. Why am I saying this is still spilly? Look at the rejection on the 20 here. Look at the rejection on the 20 here. It's been rejected twice solidly here. Yeah. And then the daily. Again, here's the 20 EMA, the 20 MA, and the 5 are here. Here's the rejection of the Bollinger. It came back down, it broke through the medial line, and now it's back testing the medial line. Okay, so now the question is will it push on down through, and the 3081 here again is this impulse. So again, it may just come. Look, see the Bollinger there, 3093. It could just come all the way down to 3093 and nearly like do a double bottom here, and then head on up. And that would be a good. That would be very positive for the W formation and the breakup. That would actually give it a nice bounce. But at the moment, so here's the 12-hour. At the moment is you can see that the 5 is starting to cut through. Here's the VWAP. Is the 12. The 12 is applying a bit of pressure. But watch when I start to go through them now, is look at the 10 here. Look at the 5 cutting through all the 10 here. So this thing, when all the MAs bind to come close together, and you see the 5 just cutting through them like this, that is a breakout. That is a breakout move. Now again, it still has to be confirmed, but when you start to see that, that's a very strong move on the 5. Yeah, but that's on the 10-hour. There's the 9-hour doing the same. And again, it's been led by the VWAP. Here's the 8-hour. The 8-hour is doing the same, and the 10 is coming with it. So these are strong moves. Now, if they can be reflected, well, fair enough. But at the moment, they're strong moves. Now, oh, very good. Look, it just turned 11. So the 8-hour. I was wondering what this was. The 8-hour just turned. And again, that was the lift up that we were talking about, and here it is already pushing back down at the moment. It turned 7 minutes ago, yeah. So this is a strong move on the 8-hour. Again, there you can see the 6-hour doing it. Now the 4-hour just turned here, and again there was that retrace on the 4-hour. Here's the 5, again looking like it's a bit challenged at the moment. However, look at the 10. The 10 is after cutting through all these. So the 10 is cutting through these. It's a very good sign for the push down. Yeah. Now here's the 3-hour, and again it came back a little bit. I know I'm taking my time through these, but it's worth doing it for now. Now this is where it gets interesting. Look at the 20, the white 20 EMA, and the 55 here. Is on the 2-hour, this broke. So this broke and it's applying a pressure, yeah. So this is a strong sign. You can see that the 5 and the VWAP here, and here's the 10 coming down. So what I'll be looking for is that if this breaks and it spills together, it can apply a fair bit of pressure down, yeah. Equally on the hour, here's the 20 and the 55. This broke up here. So oftentimes when you get a spill like this, is you get the initial push, you get the push back, and then you get the proper pressure applied down. So on this 20 breaking the 55 on the hour, is the real pressure on this hasn't actually kicked off yet. Why is it relevant? Because you can have times when it gets broken here, say, and you get a small push down because of where it is in the wave pattern, yeah. But when you see at the top of a wave here, and then you see when the 20 breaks the 55 at the top, after this consolidation, when you see it break this, you get a strong push down. Now look at what we're looking at here. Is we're back at the top of a wave, is the 20 is after breaking the 55, and again, if you look at it here, is you get a push, a retrace, a push, a retrace, and then you get the proper push down. So now it broke the 55. Where did it break the 55? It broke the 55 here, and again there's a push, a retrace, and again it looks like it's potentially going to give another push down as well. Yeah. So it looks like there's more to go with this. So this is why I'm looking at it and going, God, this could really go. Is it may only go to around 28.64. If it breaks this to 30.81, if it comes down to this and doesn't break this, this is setting it up for a double bottom. And again, this looks like the W might be in for the play, yeah. So we really do need to see both of these broken before we can be really sure it's heading down, yeah. But it's definitely looking like it's making a good effort, yeah. So now the 15. Okay, there's the 15 after it looks like it topped out there and it's pushing back down. Same with the 5. The 5 looks like it topped out. Now my argument for the push up is on what I just said about the hour here just pushing down. I'm just waiting for this here. Just pushing down to here is look at the stock RSI. The stock RSI looks like it's got space to move down. When you look at the 2 hour, again it's at the bottom and it looks like it wants to start to come up there. Yeah, the 2 hour looks like it wants to come up. Now it might only be getting a breather, but it looks once it starts breaking above this broken line here, it looks like it wants to come up. Yeah, the 3 hour. 3 hour is well below here, and the 4 hour. So the 4 hour, these all look like they need a breather and need to come up, which could be an argument for the 35, coming back up to 35. Yeah, even if it gets to push down here, like the hour, the hour might be able to give it a good strong push down. This is what I'm watching. Is the hour might give it a strong push down, but not break this, and then you get a retrace, and then you get the lift back up to 35. Yeah, and again it would give all these stocks a breather. Yeah, equally the 6 is at the bottom. The 8 is coming down. Again, they can stay here for a while. They don't have to come up straight away. But you can see there's the 9 coming down. 10, the 12 is heading back down. And there's the daily there. So yeah, so there's a case still to be made for both. So that's basically what I'm trying to say. Yeah, and then here's this channel. As you can see, it's breaking through. Yeah, I was just delighted that I hit that yesterday. I just thought I'd show you that. Okay, so I'm gonna finish up. I'm gonna finish up with basically I'll do it on the 15 minute. Is what we need to see. For the breakdown is 30.81 to get broken, equally 28.65 to get broken. These two bottoms, yeah. For the break up is we would need to see 35 getting broken, yeah. And for a solid confirmation, again, is you'll be looking at the top of this. Top of this here, yeah, 30. For a really solid confirmation of the breakup, it's 38.65. Yeah, breaking out of the arc would be. Let's put it here. I know the impulse is for 35, but really, if you want to see the levels in the arc getting broken, is you want to see 36 getting broken first. 36 getting broken is a good signal for 38.65 getting broken. Is a good signal for 45 or so to pump up, yeah. Is again 30.81 and 28.65, yeah. So yeah, so let's just see what it wants to do here. If you see that this lift here gets exhausted and doesn't make it up to the correction, this is going to be a really good signal, yeah. Here's this impulse, there's the 786. Let's say it bottomed out here. Put the fib on this, and you go to here, And again, the XRP has been religiously doing the 786 the last while, yeah. So you want to see it come up and touch. There's 3504. So if you see it coming up to 3504, okay, well now you know you have the time for this impulse. It'll probably come back down a little bit and decide what it's going to do, yeah. But if you see it hit an 05 and start to come back down again, I'd be looking at it going, that looks like it's going to break down, because it couldn't get up and complete the 786. So if it can't complete the 786 here, it looks like the pressure down is going to have an effect. If it breaks up and it hits the 35, and then you see the correction coming down, and you see it struggle to break the 05 in the opposite direction, again, I think that's a good sign that there's potential turn and that we're going to get the lift and head on up. So I think that's the play of it. So I would put a target here. There you go, 33.82. This lift needs to break 33.82 or else it's going to spill. And then if it does go all the way, again, it needs to break 33.82 or it looks like it's going to lift up. It's going to pump. So that would me honing it in. So that's it. I know I've said a lot, but that's what I'm looking at here. And I'm just out of curiosity, is this center line here between this line here and this line here, the white line and white line here, the center line is 33.77. How? There you go. I knew I was familiar with that line. Well, that's true. I have it here as 34.26. But I have it here as 33.78. Yeah, so I think this line is the decider. 33. What did I say? 33.82 is watch how price action plays at this line. I think we're going to have our answer for the break up or the breakdown. Okay, that's me. I know I said a lot, but I think it was very good information, and it gets everybody nicely focused on the play of things. Yeah. All right, I'll hand you over to Mihaela now. I'll just pull up her charts for her.
Good morning, everyone. Let's start with ETH. And I know we usually start with Bitcoin, but ETH has been very much a signal coin this past week. What ETH has done signaled, I'd say a couple of hours earlier, what Bitcoin and XRP were about to do because of its regularity. I found it really interesting to see how, for instance, when ETH broke out of this wedge, it signaled the breaking out of the peak formation and they started moving downwards. And I was in shorts in both XRP and Bitcoin and waiting for the peak formation to drop, and ETH signaled it earlier. So let's have a look this morning at where ETH is. Now we are still on our way to complete the technical target of this ascending wedge. The technical target would be the 1100. I would go even a little bit lower down to. I'm going to move this line a little bit higher because it's more relevant locally, down to 1070. And the reason being that is where this ascending wedge started. So this would have been the consolidation sideways for the pop-up. Now we've broken through the first line of defense, which would be the 1155. So we tested the level yesterday, came up slightly, and then started breaking down. We still haven't back tested it. I'm not sure it will backtest. Maybe during the New York session there will be a backtest. But what happened here, I think, is a backtest. Now, I don't think this is the first level. I think the first level of this formation for the drop would be a little bit higher here at the peak formation. So this would be, the peak formation would be first level, this would be the second level, and then I think we need to be really careful if you're shorting ETH because it might meet resistance here at this level or a little bit higher. So again, I said 1070, maybe 1090. And the reason being would be this might be, again, part of a bigger move, part of a bigger lift. A lot of people are talking about a relief rally, and that would make sense. However, we need to see, for instance, for that relief rally to hold. I'm gonna take a. I'll show you the impulse wave that I have in mind, and 1, 2 down to here, and I'm not taking the wicks into account. This might be the 3. This might come down all the way to here, which is the technical target, a little bit below, and then moving on up to 1350, and then possibly 1500. I think if this was 3, the 5 would have the chance to go a little bit higher. But again, level by level is the way to trade this successfully, rather than wait in a trade until it meets the higher target. So that if the 1090 becomes invalidated today, if it drops and holds below the 1090, which is the body of the previous peak, which would be 1, then I see further movement downwards towards the 1000 area. Basically, I know I'm conservative, and I'm having a lot more bodies meet than wicks, but again, I've seen it's better to be on the to take profit on the conservative side, because you keep taking profit constantly. Now, that's again, ETH is on its way down. I don't think we've done. I'm gonna go back to the short-term MAs. I'm gonna go more into detail in today's weekly review in terms of the daily and the bigger time frames, the 8-hour and the 6-hour MAs. But for the moment, just for the daily setup. Here we are. We tested the 20 and the midline on the midline of the Bollinger on the 15-minute, and I was telling Roy. Let me see if I'm gonna just. I've seen this with Bitcoin, but I want to check. Yes, okay. So XRP has a much more volatile retrace pattern. So XRP went all the way up to the Sydney peak at, it would have been 1184 Ethereum. So basically breaking up above the the support and resistance, which it didn't do. Bitcoin didn't do it either. So again, they're staying below the previous resistance level, which is indicative of more spillage, more downwards movement. So the 15 tested the 20. Looks like it's getting rejected. I don't think we have on the 4-hour too much support. We are below the 50. The 5 has crossed the 50. That's never a good thing if we're looking at what happened. So this here is the most conservative scenario of a 5 crossing over the 50, and it is a 5% drop. So if we're taking in this sideways, so again, I'm measuring locally because I want you to see what happened more recently. So this was a 14%, this was a 5%. So this 5 over the 50 is not a good sign, and the fact that we don't have support except for the Bollinger, and yeah, that's it. I don't want to make it a long story. It looks like we've backtested. It looks like we've backtested the short time frames, and I think we've also done so to reset. I know Bitcoin did a nicer reset on the stochastic and the RSI on the 15-minute and the 1-hour. Yes, ETH did the same on the 15-minute. The 1-hour are still, both of them are still floored, but again, they can still, the way I was telling you this last week, and it's fascinating to see it happen. The way it stayed up here, like there's always this balance in the charts. The way it stayed up here, it has the potential to stay down there the same, well, not exactly the same, because it's never in the same way, but equally long. So just because we see the RSI here doesn't mean that we're going to pop up, because just because we saw the RSI up here didn't mean we're going to come down, especially here, for instance.
If the daily and weekly MAs are applying pressure as well.
Yes.
They can hold it longer.
Thank you for that. Yes, that's actually a very good point, because I was looking at the daily stochastic. That I think I made there. Let me remove this. I made a point yesterday in the posts on, I think it was on Bitcoin. The stochastic on the daily has turned down. And again, I've seen that with Ethereum when we were looking amazing for a breakup here. I remember 2 weeks ago, I was having a session with you guys, and I was giving you the validations and invalidations, and everything looked spectacular for a lift, except for the stochastic on the day. And I even said it. I said, okay, everything looks great. The 4 hour is reset for the up, the 1 hour, the 8 hour, the 6 hour. But we just have this stochastic crossing down. And that stochastic crossing down on the day meant that the day needed a retrace, made a correction, and it brought it all the way down. So that the same thing happened here. Not yesterday, 88 Wednesday, Friday, and now the stochastic has entered what I call the box. This is the box, the range. And once it's outside of the box, it's more flexible to go up and down and crisscross a couple of times. But I've rarely seen it once it was in the box to crisscross so easily. So I'll show you some examples. Here, crisscrossing a couple of times, it goes in the box, keeps coming down. Here it tested the box, went up again. God knows what that was here. Again, crisscross, goes in the box, keeps coming down. So it has its own momentum, its own pull, this range.
Is it in the box again, or is
it's in the box? It's to me it's in the box.
Okay.
Well, at least with the blue line, which is again moving a little bit faster. The blue line is, I think, an immediate RSI. Okay, so that's where Ethereum is. Again, on the daily, textbook rejection, candle formation looked great, but we were in a sideways channel. So again, it might look like rejection until it turns around and heads upwards. So that's why we need to keep a close eye on the levels. Now let's have, what did I do? Okay, now we have Bitcoin. Let me show you the levels. I'll switch to the 1 hour. Even though these are 15-minute levels, I have to switch to the 1 hour because it's been a lot of sideways and the candles have been really small and repetitive. So Bitcoin had a similar wedge that it moved out of. It hasn't yet reached, just like Ethereum, they seem to be equally away from hitting the target. I'd say it was harder for me to say what the target is for Bitcoin because of the there's a difference in the level. So instead of putting the technical target in, I'm going to use the support and resistance line for target. So there's one at 20K and there's one at 19,400. I wouldn't say that it's come out of this ascending channel / wedge to only go to here. If I were I am trading this, I'd pick a target here rather than up here, because it is likely that this momentum is strong enough to make it come down to what is the 1 hour arc line. So this is the 1 hour edge of the arc, and we've had a textbook 1 hour arc. It was slightly deceiving what happened here, because I thought this would have been double top and this would have been mountain peak because of their size, but it was just the sideways that made it look more impressive than what is. So this was double top and came down for the first drop. This is mountain peak. It's going to come down for the third drop. I've never seen, and I know it's never, but I've never seen a third drop to go only down to here. I'm asking Roy if you if you hear the pause. I've never seen a third drop to be so small. Have you?
I have, yeah. Yeah, I've seen small ones before.
This small, not even coming down to the line.
No, I tell that it looks like it will come down. But I have seen small ones, but not very often.
Okay.
Not very often.
Well, you've seen you've been paying a lot. Okay, so they are not impossible, but they're rare.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think it's going to come down more.
Yeah. I believe
5%,
if there's enough.
I was looking at it earlier.
5,
it looks like
5%. Yeah. The Ethereum's cross showed a 5%, a conservative 5% drop.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. On XRP, for me now, another 5% would be, I'd nearly be signing the line on a proper breakdown.
Mm-hmm. Now, on Bitcoin, we're a little bit more positive with the support, not with the support, with the crossings on the 4 hour. We still have no support on the 4 hour in terms of the main MAs. We're below the 50 MA, and the 5 is threatening to come down. And again, I'll measure the percentage from here, 4.25 on one instance and 10% on the other. And again, these are just the two crosses in this sideways channel. They're the local crosses, so to say. In terms of the 15, again, we haven't gone so far. This was the peak. This was the peak of Sydney. Let me just check. Yeah. So this was the peak of Sydney here. Yeah, 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. This one here. So this was the peak when Sydney started. This was the peak when London started. So it looks like it's gonna come down in a descending channel. We've loads of sideways, so be mindful. If I would in terms of trade setup, I'll give you more details tonight. But if you hadn't started shorting somewhere around here, the peak formation or the drop out of the wedge, I would wait until I see either this line be broken or this line be broken and retest it, because they need to prove themselves, so to say. It might stop here and it might stop here. I know it's not likely, but it might. So you would have to take that risk. I believe, again, if I'm to look at the wave, the impulse wave formation, and I'll change to the 4 hour. Bitcoin has still a long way to go to 90. Yes, the 20,000. That's why I'm saying it might stop at the 20,000, the first yellow line, because that would be a possible scenario for the lift. And again, I'm not taking the wicks into account. That would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and could come down all the way down to here, and then move up for 5. And this 5 could be just a small 5, a double top, or if it has proper momentum, it could be a nice lift. So when it gets down to the 20,000 level, maybe even a little bit. Why is this? Is there? This is Bybit. Bybit. They're both Bybit. 19,900. 20,300. That's odd. I will investigate this. Again, when we the point still stands. When we get to the yellow line, we'll see how it holds. If it is gonna head up, or if it is gonna break and move down. At the moment, the 15 seems to have caught a breather. So has the 1 hour. And we'll see what London does. I can imagine that today is going to be a down day, and in this down day, if the levels hold, we might see a lift coming tomorrow, or if the levels break, the way we had an up week last week, we had no reversal last week. Last week was all about going up, up, up. We might see a down week this week. So in tonight's weekly review, we'll have the London session and the New York session information, and we can see which level held and what trade setups there might be. So thank you for being here, and have a beautiful Monday and a beautiful week.
Cheers, guys. Have a great day.